One name generating plenty of buzz this Olympics doesn't swim in a pool, run on a track, or compete on a field of any kind. Gold Zone, part of Peacock's streaming offerings during the games and modeled after NFL Network's Red Zone, allows viewers to watch multiple events taking place at the same time. Dan Roberts, editor-in-chief for Front Office Sports, joins us now. So glad you can join us here on the set. We understand that ratings for the Paris Games are up considerably when you compare what happened in the Tokyo Games just a few years ago. What factors do you think are drawing viewers in, and how much of a role is Peacock's Gold Zone playing in this?
Yeah, Allison, NBC is having a dream Olympics. NBC writ large, so including the linear network, and then also Peacock specifically. Just this past Sunday when Noah Lyles won the 100-meter, which we know was exciting, controversial, it was a photo finish, it had 35 million people watching across NBC's platforms. So that's on the network, and then on Peacock, that was more than double the comparable Sunday at the Tokyo Olympics, which was the last Summer Games. Of course, we know, as you said, it was the COVID year. It got delayed by a year. We still call it the 2020 Olympics. It really happened in 2021. And Mark Lazarus, who is the NBC Universal chairman, actually said and acknowledged when we had Peacock for the last Olympics, it wasn't where we wanted it to be. It wasn't in the right place. It didn't have enough bells and whistles. And you don't often hear them acknowledging that. Now it's like, this is Peacock's big coming out. I would make a pun here about, flashing its feathers. Peacock is having a huge Olympics. 4.7 million people watched the first Saturday. Biggest single day for Peacock ever, other than one NFL game. That was a wild card game.
But what specifically is drawing more viewers to this?
Oh, pick your reason. Paris is a great place for the games to be. I think you're seeing a lot of great energy. We're through COVID. Obviously, COVID's still a thing, but we're through COVID disrupting live sports. More fans in person. I think a huge reason that the COVID Olympics was such a problem and terrible low ratings, there wasn't any energy. You looked and there weren't fans there, and it was a totally different experience. So many storylines, especially Team USA. I mentioned Noah Lyles. You mentioned Simone Biles. There's Steven Netterosik, the pommel horse guy, who has vision issues, takes his glasses off. Incredible. So many different great athletes have emerged as stars, and you're going to see a huge flood of new endorsement deals for those athletes as soon as the Olympics end. So I just think you can feel it, that people are watching when 4 years ago they didn't really have an interest.
As we're talking, we are seeing Amari Booknight, the divisional vice president of structural heart at Abbott. He is signing the distinguished guest book, getting ready to ring the opening bell and open up the U.S. equity markets. I'll continue our interview here. NBC and Peacock's coverage is more than just the Gold Zone, right? How is the rise of streaming elevating the Olympic experience for viewers?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting what's happening. We were talking about this before the segment, right? We're living through a prolonged transition period. So right now, you're getting more and more on streaming, but it's still not everything available, right? It's still a la carte. I think a lot more people are realizing that maybe they're paying for more apps than they want. That plate of your streaming subscriptions is really piling up. So we're starting to see some people actually cut their streaming subscriptions. Peacock reported that it lost 1 million subscribers. That was before this Olympics. I think this Olympics will be a huge boon. You mentioned Gold Zone, which is a Red Zone style whip-around show. First time they've done that. They've actually brought together both hosts of the competing, normally NFL Red Zone style shows, Andrew Siciliano and you mentioned Scott Hansen. And then there's an Al Michaels AI voice feature. They've got all 327 medal events, 5,000 hours of live programming. It's the first time that you can see every single thing that is happening all on Peacock.
So how is this affecting what the next Olympics rights deal looks like in the U.S.? How much money are we talking about here that could be on the table?
NBC has the rights until 2032. I expect them to bid hard to re-up. You look at what just happened with the NBA rights, fascinating story. TNT got rejected in favor of Amazon, and it goes back to the transition period, right? So when you see the rights up next time, I think you're going to see a streaming-only company like an Amazon. Maybe it's an Apple, maybe it's a Netflix. They're going to want in there and try to get some Olympics rights. But the money's going to keep going up. Arguably this is, you never want to say any investment is bulletproof. But when it comes to live sports, this is kind of the last bastion of paying up big, which is why people are faulting Warner Bros. Discovery for not getting in on that C package with the NBA. So you're certainly going to see NBC re-up. You're going to see more on Peacock. I think you'll see Peacock prices go up. They actually raised prices by $3 each for its 2 tiers before the Olympics. But now you got to wait another 2 years for the next Winter Games, another 4 years for the next Summer Games to see if Peacock is as big as a smash success. LA, I think, is going to be huge for streaming the Olympics on Peacock.
Yeah, and right now, U.S. sports fans get a full day of Olympic viewing, Peacock's ongoing coverage during the day before NBC's primetime coverage at night. But in 2020, in the Olympics in LA, it's 3 hours behind viewers watching from the East Coast, even later for overseas viewers. So is this going to be helpful or harmful for NBC and Peacock's ratings?
Yeah, in 2028, I think LA will be huge for US viewers. I mean, right now you have to do the math. Okay, it's 6 hours ahead. Now it's going to be either, it's in my time zone if you're on the West Coast. Okay, if you're on the East Coast, 3 hour difference. But I actually think it's going to be a boon to people watching, because right now, as is often the case when it's an international Olympics, i.e. somewhere other than the US, everyone's kind of like, oh, is this event live? You turn on your TV, is this a re-air or is this tennis happening right now? When it's in LA, I think it's going to be a lot simpler, and I think you'll probably see live viewership in the prime time window at night be even better for NBC and forever has those rights moving forward.
Dan Roberts, love the conversation. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Allison.